Okay, on my left is the 92 XFI that I did a lot of work on. On the right is the 91 XFI that I just got the other night. The one on the left was a teal blue gray interior. It was basically pretty close to the same shape as that white one when I got it. And then it was pretty impeccable until I left the hood unreleased and drove down the road the other day, and my hood flew up and smashed my windshield out and creased my hood up. I banged it back out a little bit. I've ordered a hood. It's got a big old ding mark there, and it's been up in the air there. But this one's had a ton of work done on it, inside and out. The entire interior has been ripped out and redone. I did steal the rear windows out of this one, which I can put back because they were tinted. And I added air conditioning to my blue car, so I threw the tinted windows in the back. I didn't do the hatch back. This one has tinted windows all the way around, which may or may not be legal in Virginia, depending on how darkly they're done. It's a rear defroster on this one as well, with the amateur added tint. The hatch was unlocked and I screwed up and slammed it down. I don't have the key, so I can't open it back up. But it appears to be intact for the most part. It has the cardboard over the spare tire with the sticker for the color paint codes and all that stuff, so that's there. It is missing the plastic that runs on the very bottom of the interior of the hatch. It has the shock tower plastic on this side. It looks like it's missing the shock tower plastic on that side, unless it's in the car somewhere. I'm going to guess it's not there. That seat, well, I can get the door open and look at it. This seat looks fair. Passenger seat looks fair. It's got a rip in it right there. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to climb in here a little bit. You can see what I mean. It's missing that piece of plastic there. It's missing the shock tower plastic there. And let me see if I can rip this thing open. The struts, of course, don't work to hold the hatch up, so they've got to stick in here. Let's take a look at how much rust might be in here. It even has a spare tire and a jack. Tiny bit of rust right there. Headliner's not all trashed. Headliner looks pretty good. Yeah, it's a filthy, dirty car. I mean, it's white in here, and you can just see it's just filthy. Although the plastic interior, let's look at the seat. The seat's pretty good. It's got a mark on it, which would probably clean out. You know, I took my interior out and actually pressure washed it. I put, this seat's different than mine. It's got leather on the top, where mine's more fabricy. So this is a pretty decent little seat. And the carpet, surprisingly, isn't that bad. It's probably better than the carpet that was in my car. But I took the entire interior out of my car, put upholstery and carpet cleaner on it outside, and used a, 2,000 PSI pressure washer, and I washed everything and just let it dry outside. Mine came out pretty good. This one could use all of that. So let's see, we got all of this appears to be intact. And as I said, this is a little different than my 92 because see what they've got here. I'll give you a better shot of it. The dashboard's totally different. Instead of being sloped down, it's like two levels, and this dashboard's got cracks in it, crack tear. That's all hard plastic up there, which is extremely faded but not broken. Speaker, instead of them being down below where they are on the 92. And the ventilation is sort of like my Buick Park Avenue was. They've got a tube here and a tube here, and it actually comes out the side. Now this one's broken off and shattered. This one's intact. But you see that the vents on these 91s are actually in the doors. So they are a slightly different door panel. Seatbelt's intact. No, steering's locked because I don't have the key. The lights and stuff and fan controls are different too. And I'm wondering if somebody hasn't changed this or if this is how it's supposed to be, because let me try. I guess these are windshield wipers up here. Okay, so your heater fan controls are down here. This is where he had his big booming radio because he's got huge cables running in the back, I guess for an amp and all that stuff. And This is your flasher. And you got your windshield wiper. This is what's weird. The windshield wiper's here, and there's high, low, intermittent, and off. So that's kind of odd. My 92 is not anything like that. And well, you know, here's flashers. So I don't know what this. Oh, this is the rear defroster. So here's your flasher, and then here's like your headlights. Now it's missing one of these buttons, whether it's in the car or gone or broke. I don't know, but it looks like you turn your headlights on here, and then here, and then off. I guess this is parking, headlights off, and hopefully it looks like it's dimmer and left turn, right turn. So it is a little different. The hood thing is broken. You have to like grab it and pull. It's just sitting there flopping around. I know it's going to need hinge, just like every one of these Geos. The hinge pins are toast on this thing. So it's got, you know, it hangs down about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and you lift it up and stuff. I'm seeing a little bit of rust on the bottom of the door, not rusted through, but surface rust down in here. And it's starting to rain, so I'm not getting out there right now. I'm going to sit in here and just talk. Like I said, the windshield's cracked. That was no big surprise when I saw it. Every one of these I get got a damn broken windshield. This visor has been ripped. Yes.
What are you doing? Filming your new Geo?
Selling this car.
Selling it?
I'm working on maybe trading
Why?
this.
It's a great car.
I know, but I found another one that's in worse shape, but better shape. It's really weird. You know.
It's a very interesting Geo.
I know.
It's so different.
This part is. It's really weird.
Yeah. It's kind of like a pickup truck, but
A
inside
pickup
Geo.
truck.
Yeah. That's what it looks like on the inside.
It looks like a pickup truck. It looks exactly like mine from the steering wheel back.
From the steering wheel back, but I mean the dash and everything.
The dash is weird.
All the like. Look, there's a repair manual. Or is that yours?
No, it was in there. So far I found about $1 and change, so I've already made money off this car. I haven't even looked under the seat. There could be anything under there. You know?
Anything. That's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Could be both.
I know. What are you doing?
I'm going.
You're leaving?
Yeah, I'm coming back on Tuesday though.
You're just all over the place, man.
I know. Well, Mom's like, you need to do paperwork. Also, I can't like leave her alone for too long at once, because, you know. Bye. Will you be here on Tuesday and Wednesday? Because that's when we're going to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. All right.
Have fun.
I will. So let's look at. All right. All right. Okay, back to this thing. So let's look at the outside of this thing. We've got some rust going on here, all the way across. It's nothing too drastic, but it's going to have to be sanded, maybe in slight fill. Rust spot, rust spot, rust spot, rust spot. Rust spot on the roof. Another one like that over on the side, because it's got a couple of those here and there. Here's some here. You know, big old scratch mark where it rusted. As far as it's got no appreciable dings in the roof or damage. No real rust anywhere around here. Look under the door. The door is fairly clear of rust except right in the very, very, very front. Let's see if I can get down here low enough. Hold on. Let me move my camera. See if I can get up here. Then let's see if I can find it because I know it's there. It's there. See, so we got some rust. But this door is creased anyhow, so you know, unless you're gonna do some body work on the door itself, it's probably going to be replaced. The bigger concern would be, as far as body stuff, is what's going on with this rear quarter panel. It looks like they caught something here and creased the door. Okay? And then it continues into the quarter panel where they try to like do something with it maybe. I think it was creased in, and they kind of hammered it out from the inside a little bit without any care about how it looked. So, you know, I mean, it's not anything drastic, but there is more of a concern about the rust going on the quarter panel because it's really eaten out the fender well for it's a little bit like it should be a 90-degree flare here, and it's been crumpled up a little bit, and then it comes back down here. It's flat again, but it's rusted. So there is some rust going on here, and you'd really have to get under here to see how much, but it just looks like it's on the outside of the quarter panel itself. But yeah, that's probably the most extensive, worst thing I've seen on the car is this part of the quarter panel. Let me get back so you can really get a good look at it. But this is, of course, the side they didn't show you in the picture. There's a similar small crease in the driver's door. I didn't even notice it first. I had to really look at it just now to see it. But you can see they got up against something, or somebody hit them, and creased the door in and caught the quarter panel. It looks like actually what they did was they came down here and creased the quarter panel and then caught it and pulled it out behind the tire, and they and it looks like it came across here pushing it in and then caught and ripped it. Pulled this little piece out here where it's probably rusted or something. So you've got that to deal with. It's nothing really major, but it is a pain. The hatch generally overall looks good. It does have a ding in it right over here, and it's a depression with some rust on it. Typical Geo rust on the below the windows here. Mine was a lot worse, but mostly surface rust at this point. I mean, this gives you a general idea of the condition of the car. It was just filthy, and they just drove it. Got rust right here, no rust through, but it's rusting, little spot. Surface rust going on the inside of the fender well. Just beginning to get to the point where if you don't get in here and take care of it, it's going to rust through. Some of the paint chipping off a little bit because of the rust. But for the most part, it looks like it's still metal. It's got to be addressed soon. Now let me see this. Yeah, here you go. There's another crease in this door that starts about right here. It's not anywhere like the other door. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't even, depending on what I wanted to do with this car, I may or may not even do anything with this crease. But it's a tiny one that also is a lot less, but extends into the bottom of the quarter panel there. But I'm making it look worse by putting dirt on it. But it's nothing like the other side, but it's not perfect. So, oh, I just noticed the left mirror's cracked. They're $20. I haven't checked to see if all the doors open, close, lock, and unlock. I haven't done anything with this car yet except, get the guy to bring it here and park it and pop the hood and look under it, and that's about it. So you're seeing about what I'm seeing for the first time. It does run, it does drive. I saw it myself, so. How does it drive? How does it steer? Does it shake? Is it dangerous? I have no idea. And this tire looks a little low. Tires are, let me take a look. I would guess the tires are probably total crap. Doesn't matter because I always replace them anyhow, but it looks like some are good, some are bad. Okay, this hood is functional. It's got, maybe hard to see, but it's got creases in it and dings and stuff back towards the back. And I mean, it's probably about the same shape as mine as it's flown up and hit my windshield. Or slightly better than mine, but not by much. Still has the vacuum routing sticker on there, so it's the original hood. Looking to see where I want to go with this next. Now he had just replaced the timing belt, so the cover is missing, and I probably don't have it, and the water pump when he was doing that trip back from the Gulf of Mexico or whatever. And that would explain why there's rust all over the top of the radiator, because they sat there and messed with it on the side of the road. Like I said, the transmission is just covered in gook, original gook. I mean, I've only seen like diesel engines that look like this. It's just It doesn't look like it's leaking. It just looks like, you know, 20 years of gook. Nobody ever just did anything with this car. They just drove it. So let's look at the rust. You've got some beginning of bubbling rust right here, is it maybe? Back out. Right here, just a little bit. You've got some getting into the shock tower, right here. Okay, and little surface rust going on here and there. The radiator support is not rusted or rusting through. It looks pretty good. This shock tower over here, you've got rust and it's actually starting to get through. So that's got to be taken care of so it'll stop. And you've got actually a hole right here where it has rusted through. And it looks like they pulled something out of here because it's missing the air cleaner tube that connects down into here. I suspect they were doing something and got some of this going here, but they do have a rusted hole going there. Like I said, I don't know hardly anything about this engine. I did see it run behind me for 12 miles, and it had been running somewhere else before that, and supposedly went to the Gulf of Mexico and back at higher RPMs because he didn't have fifth gear. I'm looking at this horn down here. It's going to be hard to film it and show it to you. I'm going to get into it more later. It's typically like the rest of the Geos. It's all covered in oil and stuff. I see white paint. I don't see any rust. That doesn't mean it's not rusty. You have to get in there with a pick hammer and really beat on them and try to break them and see if they're rusted or not. Driver's side is the one I always see that rusts through, and this one doesn't look terrible. That doesn't mean it's not bad. I'm seeing a lot of white paint, which is the color of the car, and it's really white paint under there with more like runoff rust going on. It's still paint. And then I can see what you might think is rust in this photo is actually black dirt and a little teeny tiny bit of rust right there. So it's questionable. I mean, these may be perfectly good horns. You got to get in there and hammer on them to tell. What I did on mine, the 92, they appeared perfect too. Then I hammered on them, and on the driver's side I poked 2 holes about this size, finger hole size, in 2 places, and then I stopped. Then I poured a bunch of rust stopping acid, kind of rust converter, up inside there, and then a couple days later I used 2 entire cans of Rust-Oleum primer and just sprayed the hell out of the inside of the horn on my driver's side of my 92 just to get it to stop rusting, because I think the little bit that it did rust isn't going to hurt it. I've seen these, when I've gone to some auctions and seen these where they've actually rusted through and the guy slammed on the brakes and the entire tire has moved back into the fender well on one side of the car, which is a big clue when you're looking at these cars. Check and see the clearance of the tire on one side and the other. And if one looks suspiciously different, there's probably something wrong. Because prior to the horn completely breaking, it can just give, and they slam on the brakes and the whole wheel moves backwards. It's still functional. It'll work until you hit the brakes at the right time, and then the wheel snaps off and you have a tricycle. So just to get going, I think that's basically it. It looks like it has a brand new muffler. So that would explain why it's so loud. It's a pretty loud car behind me anyhow. I'm going to try and get under there and look at it more. It's raining right now off and on. I see the back left tire slick. The right rear tire looks good. Left front tire looks good. The right front tire looks slick. So like I said, no idea. Ball joints, steering, brakes, what condition they're in, I have no idea. You know, and I bought it because it was there. And I strike when the iron's hot. With no real plans of what I was going to do with it. I'll do something with it though. This is mine that I've completely redone and added air conditioning and DVD player. 6 speakers all around. Pressure washed the entire inside and then put it back together. I think this one's a lot more similar to the 93 than that 91 is. Hood release. And This one was pretty sweet until I left the hood up the other day and drove down the road and forgot about it. And it flew up and took out my windshield. Now I need a new hood. And they're on back order. But you can see this one doesn't have the rust the other one had. Now, this is where that other one's rusted out, is right here. And you see there's 2 holes here for something to be mounted there, and so that's probably what got the rust going. It is missing this entire tube on the other car. And, you know, mine didn't look as bad as that one does as far as gunk, but it was pretty gunked out. This one's been cleaned a lot. And you can see that my frame horn is starting to crack right down in here, and I'm poking my finger through it, so it's not gonna be long before I'm gonna have to do something with this one, because I can see mine starting to break loose right down there. So mine's beginning to deteriorate. It's not gonna be long before it breaks loose. I'm gonna get in there and do something about it before it does, hopefully. So you really can't tell about these. You can see there's a, if I get in here to where you can see it, there's the beginning of a hole there, which is a new hole. Camera doesn't want to focus. Right there. So yep, my frame horn's about to go on this one, driver's side. It's got 2 holes on the outside you can't see unless we turn the wheel and get up in there and look at it. That's what I'm saying about the other one. I can't see that till I get in there and really look at it. So that frame horn's not looking good. See if I can turn the wheel on this one. And then we can also wonder why my keys are in it. I was wondering why my steering doesn't lock. Let's see if we can see this on here. See, that's where I beat on it and I created that hole. And so that's not a new hole. That's the hole we just saw from above. That's one of the ones I made. And we sprayed a bunch of stuff up in there, but it's gonna fail. It's gonna need the horns replaced, worked on, which is a real pain, especially since I've replaced almost everything in this car. The suspension's been replaced, swing arms replaced, control horns replaced. You know, the last thing it needed was to have a horn start to fail. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down there and scrub those out again, paint them some more, hope for the best, see how many days, weeks, months, years they'll last before I have to actually do something about them. This one I added air conditioning from a 1995 onto it. That's what my circuit board's for. It controls the air conditioning compressor delay, so my car doesn't cut off at idle when the air conditioner kicks in. So anyhow, that's basically it on this car. I know it drives because I saw it driven. Doesn't mean it's any good. Have no idea. These cars always look good till you get into them. And I can see that it does look like what I said, that whatever creased the side of the car then caught that and pulled it out. You probably can't see it really good on this camera, but I can see it's like been pulled out at the very, very bottom where something hooked it. So whatever creased the door coming down then grabbed the very, very back there and flipped it out like an inch, and they've banged it back in or something. So there's worse ones out there, there's better ones out there. This is one of them. Go up here and look at my other engine and transmission I have. Like I said, he said that the transmission in that one fifth gear didn't work. I don't know what that means. It doesn't go in it or what. And then fourth gear, he had to hold it in it. Not having been able to start it and drive it, I don't know what that means as far as not being able to get it in fifth gear. Maybe it's become unsynchronized. I don't know. This is the other engine I have. I don't know what year this is, but it's supposed to be the same generation as mine. It's got a serial number tag on it and the transmission where I can look it up and figure it all out. I just haven't done it yet. It appeared to me to be extremely similar to the one I have in my 92. So there's a transmission behind it, and I have no idea what transmission that is as far as final drive gear ratios. But it did come with this control, this ECM, which might tell us more about what it is and isn't. One thing we do know is it says Fed, which means it isn't a weird-ass California car that no one wants. It's a 49 state car engine. So, yeah, I have that engine and that transmission. They're both supposedly good. That's why I paid for them from a person who people know. And so far, nobody said anything bad about him. So, I have fairly good faith that it is good. Still. That means nothing though, till you get in there and use it. So that's about it. I haven't planned to do anything with this white one yet, other than get it and secure it and then figure out what, if anything, I'm going to do with it. I think really the only thing that really turns me off about it is the fact that it's not exactly like mine as far as the dash goes. Other than that, I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I'm not worried about the bodywork stuff because I've had to do a bunch of that anyhow. Or the transmission since I have one. But I'm kind of game to do this or something else. So. And like I said, it is an MS VIN number, so, and of course it says XFI everywhere, but that means nothing. Anybody can get a sticker. But it is an MS VIN number, so it supposedly is an MSI, or XFI. Alright. Let me see if it also needs a right mirror, or did it even come with one? A true XFI wouldn't have a side mirror, unless it was sold in Virginia. So yep, it's got the actual blocked plate there. Alright, that is all. Thanks.